Welcome to another weekly edition of the Best Way to Smoke News, sponsored by none other than Cali Guard. So if you're rolling them jumbo-sized backwoods, guava leaves, hemp leaves, whatever it is, and you don't want to be smoking on that speed it, get you a glue guard.
Get that glue guard.
And this is being presented to you by Serpo Jr.
Big J.
All right. We heard it. We got it. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, this week, GOP congressman threatens Indian tribe with loss of federal funding over marijuana. That's crazy. A Republican congressman from North Carolina is urging members of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, EBCI, to reject a referendum next month that would legalize marijuana on tribal land. That referendum, that's pretty much just like something targeted specific to try to get passed over. And what the warning that the move would mean a loss of federal funding under a bill he plans to introduce. In a opt published last week in the Cherokee One Feather, Republican Chuck Edwards acknowledged that the Congress cannot stop the EBCI referendum set for September 7th from going forward, but he appealed to the tribe's members to vote against it. And pretty much he just saying it's like he's real cool with the tribal members.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And just because I'm cool with you, it doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything.
Right.
So with this right here, he just urging them not to do so, because if this passed for this recreational marijuana, they'll lose funding for
a whole
the
bunch
land.
of others. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like towback.
Yeah, because they can't stop them. They can't block them from doing what they want to do with the land.
Mm-hmm.
But they could hate in other kind of ways. No. USDA teaches hemp farmers how to use Ghostbusters like device to collect cannabis. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is encouraging hemp growers to construct a Ghostbusters like backpack vacuum that will allow them to collect up to 10 grams of cannabis pollen in less than a minute. It's part of an effort to gather and distribute the pollen to an international group of researchers and breeders. These resources will be backed up at the ARS National Laboratory for Genetic Resources Prevention, Regenerating, Monitoring, and Maintaining with best management practices, so that high-quality germ plasm can be distributed to researchers and breeders within the hemp community. Vulnerable or threatened genetics resources for hemp wild relatives and cultivators will be safeguarded so that these critical sources of genes for hemp research and breeding are widely available. In addition, new genetic resources for hemp that might be suitable for U.S. agricultural systems will be introduced. It's like, they trying to find all kind of different ways to get that cannabis. Moving on.
Minnesota governor dismisses claims that state constitution lets people sell homegrown marijuana without a license following legalization. The governor of Minnesota is pushing back against a legal argument that the state constitution allows people to sell their homegrown marijuana without obtaining a license.
That's cool.
Stating that it was not our intention to authorize that type of commerce under the legalization legislation he signed into law this year. So pretty much, you know what I'm saying, they tried to go and put certain things into law, and they like the Minnesotans, that's what I'm going to call them, people, the residents of Minnesota.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, they pretty much saw that loophole and went right through that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Fast.
Real quick. You know what I'm saying? But while adults 21 and older may now possess, cultivate, and gift cannabis under the law that took effect at the beginning of the month, retailers, besides those operated by tribes, are not expected to open for at least another year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't sell it, gift it.
Here.
You know.
Here, my friend. Yep. Moving on. Let's dispel the myth that cannabis and tobacco or smoke are equally hazardous to health. A growing percentage of Americans perceive smoking cannabis to be less dangerous than smoking tobacco cigarettes. That's a fact. They're correct, but numerous studies assessing the long-term health impact of cannabis smoke exposure believe the myth that marijuana is associated with the same sort of well-established advisor, adverse respiratory hazards as tobacco. Wouldn't know it from reading the recent slew of media headlines. For example, federally funded research performed by scientists at the University of California, Los Angeles compared the lifetime risk of lung cancer among more than 2,000 long-term marijuana smokers, tobacco smokers, and non-smokers. Investigators determined that those who regularly smoked cigarettes possessed a 20-fold higher lung cancer risk than did non-smokers. By contrast, those who only smoke marijuana possess no such elevated risk. Keep doing y'all research.
Mm. Colorado's marijuana tax brought in more revenue than alcohol or cigarettes last year, new state report shows. I thought Colorado was supposed to have been going down. That's why I be saying they be putting out a little different shit. Colorado generated more tax revenue from marijuana than alcohol or cigarettes during the last fiscal year, with 280 million in cannabis tax dollars going toward a variety of government programs and services like K-12 education and healthcare. Now, when I hear stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, it make it seem as if like the cannabis is booming. You know what I'm saying? And
It's more in there, yeah.
yeah, I'm already knowing. Is more up in there.
It's more.
An analyst from the state's nonpartisan legislative council staff released on Wednesday showed that even though annual marijuana tax revenue has decreased significantly over the past 2 years, marijuana sales are still contributing more funds to Colorado's budget than other regulated substances. In fact, tax revenue from marijuana in the last year amounted to nearly as much as the state generated from alcohol and cigarettes combined. Cannabis tax revenue also surpassed that of non-cigarette tobacco products and nicotine products in the fiscal year of 2022 to 2023. The revenue comes from from two distinct taxes that are imposed on adult use marijuana products, and 15% excise tax on and a 15% special sales tax. That's crazy.
Man.
The total also includes revenue from the sale of medical cannabis products, which are subject to a 2.9% sales tax.
So all together, that's about,
you know what I'm saying? They
32.9.
taxing, they bringing in dollars though. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear reports like this, it's like, how you gonna sit here and just say like certain stuff is not booming? It's just not to a certain person's expectation. You know what I'm saying? But it's providing lots.
Yeah, them taxes killing them though. 32.9%.
That's what we know. With Surfo Jr.
Big J.
Baby.